Hamza Ahmed.
Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
Successful entrepreneur, physical specimen, kickboxer. Hamza has been the face of male self-improvement for years. But this wasn't always the case. He was once a serial procrastinator, addicted to porn, addicted to weed and fast food. As Hamza would put it, he was Jeffrey. So what changed? How exactly was he able to make such a drastic transformation? After watching hundreds of Hamza's self-improvement videos, testing his advice in my own life and pages of notes later, I have compiled Hamza's most effective tools to beat procrastination. In this video, we are going to dissect each of these tools, figure out why they are so effective and how you can implement them in your own life to get similar results. So let's get right into it. The truth is, Hamza is not even trying to beat procrastination because he understands something that most people don't.
You want to know what the secret, I'm not going to waste your time, you want to know the secret to overcoming procrastination, which pretty much everyone else misses: your mental health. It's your mental health that controls your productivity, and no one else talks about this.
You see, according to Hamza, procrastination is merely a symptom. The root cause of this is your poor mental health. Imagine you've been shot by a gun and you're just oozing out blood, and due to this blood loss, you just got a fever. What you do instead of treating that gunshot wound is that you start taking pills for your fever instead. This is what most people are doing. They are trying to fight off the symptoms rather than the root cause, which is poor mental health. Hamza's channel is pretty much a goldmine of tools to improve your mental health. Here are some of the most important tools that you need in your mental health toolkit.
We all must suffer one of two things: pain of discipline or pain of regret.
This quote is from one of Hamza's oldest videos and it describes a foundational principle. Hamza talks about the two kinds of choices that you get to make at each moment of your life. Either you can have instant pleasure or you can have delayed pleasure. You can get instant pleasure from things like watching porn, doom scrolling, video games, but there is a cost associated with it. After that initial burst of pleasure, you're going to feel worse than you felt before using them. And this shitty feeling is going to last far longer. On the other hand, there is delayed gratification, but this way actually requires you to do something hard and productive first. Think about working out, for example. When you're working out and you're in the middle of doing 50 push-ups, your chest is burning. This is not a very enjoyable experience. But once you're done with the workout, that is when the dopamine kicks in and you begin to feel good about yourself having done the hard work. With delayed gratification, the suffering period is far shorter and the period of feeling good about yourself is way longer. If you look at Hamza's routine, literally every item on there is about delaying pleasure. The next time you want to decide whether something is good or bad for you, ask yourself, which of the two pains is this going to cause? The reason why most people choose instant pleasure is to numb themselves from pain. This pain is often caused by some area of your life being broken. So instead of you trying to fix that broken piece, you just decide to numb yourself with quick pleasure. What Hamza does instead is that he journals. Writing down your thoughts allows you to declutter your mind and organize your thoughts. This process of organizing your thoughts allows you to relieve stress and anxiety in a healthy way. Take a look at how Hamza describes this process.
I want you to think right now. Think of, like, you know, the black and white pictures of like the strong masculine men of the 1900s, the 1800s, all the presidents and Thomas Edison, you know, like those kind of masculine men. Just think about it. All of them had journals. Why? We have such intrinsic, such deep thoughts that need to be analyzed, that we need to put like some conscious thought into like thinking about. And it's too hard to just keep all of that just mumbled up in your brain. You need to put some things down on paper. Right now, your attention span is fucking trash. When you spend time on modern technologies like TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube, your attention span gets worse because content is just so quick these days. However we consume information trains our brain to get better at that same level of consumption. So for the dumbasses who spend time on TikTok, think about it, they're consuming information, what, every 2 seconds? You're training your brain to not be able to hold focus and attention for longer than a second.
Without a good attention span, you cannot focus. And without being able to focus on a task, you find it boring. And when you find something boring, you tend to procrastinate it. Imagine you were reading this book and every single sentence in that book made complete sense to you. You could connect with all the ideas in the book and use them to start improving your life. And when you have such a positive experience, then the probability that you would do it again skyrockets. And a good attention span is a prerequisite to having such a high quality experience. Hamza has trained his attention span to elite levels using meditation. Just like you can train your muscles to grow with weights, you can also train your attention span with meditation. When you are meditating, you are actually getting no stimulation, not even the stimulation of your own thoughts. And learning to live in the absence of stimulation is what grows your attention span. Have you ever decided to change your life? You wrote down a bunch of goals and you were fairly committed to them for like 2-3 days. But on day 5, there was just this voice in your head which does not feel like doing the work anymore. It instead just wants you to lie down, scroll, or go to some degenerate website. The truth is that this happens because most people do not have any sort of structure in their lives. When you do not have a plan, then every moment becomes a debate. One side arguing that you should be doing some productive work, and the other side just advocating for fun and pleasure. And guess what? The fun side usually wins. The way that Hamza tackles this problem is living life by a routine. Most people don't realize this, but it's much easier to do the same thing at the same time every day. When you've been following your routine for a couple of weeks, then all the activities that are on your routine almost start feeling effortless because you're just so used to doing them. And having a routine protects you from your own mind. You do not have to have any of these debates anymore. All you have to do is blindly follow a piece of paper. And this saves a ton of psychological energy which can instead be used in starting the task. This is one of the reasons why Hamza has been so consistent with his uploads and training, because he has made them part of his routine. One of Hamza's most effective practice for beating procrastination is his habit of doing deep work. Deep work refers to really mentally demanding tasks that actually help you make the most progress. If you're a student, this task could be studying for an exam. If you're a YouTuber, deep work could be something like writing a script or researching a topic. And then there is shallow work. This is the kind of work that does not require much of brain power and usually does not lead you to making significant progress. This could be things like responding to emails, organizing your files, or attending meetings. What Hamza does is he schedules his deep work block as soon as he gets up. Literally does not even brush his teeth, just rolls out of his bed and gets on his laptop. After incorporating this in my life, I've noticed massive changes. When you start your day with checking notifications or responding to emails, then it's actually quite hard to focus on things later on in the day because your mind is now already scattered by different thoughts. But when I would immediately start my day with a deep work session, I would find it much easier to focus on the task because you're pretty much fresh at the beginning of the day. Now, doing deep work first thing in the day is extremely effective, but it's not easy to implement. You really have to optimize your sleep. You cannot wake up feeling sleep deprived, or else your brain is simply not going to function and you would end up procrastinating the task. So what Hamza does is he goes to bed really early at around 7 or 8 p.m. just so that he can wake up fresh. The next thing he does is he starts his deep work session by doing the most important task of the day. This strategy is called eating the frog. You basically do the hardest thing first, right at the beginning of the day, because your battery levels are 100%. I've also found that when I start my day with doing something quite hard, then all the other things later on feel quite easy. Another important setup for Hamza's deep work routine is that he does it in a distraction-free environment. Like, the man wakes up at 4 a.m. for a reason. No one can disturb you then. No one is going to be ringing your bell. Your family and your friends, they are not going to need you to do chores. The world is asleep. He also puts his phone on flight mode for large durations of the day so that no notification can pop up and distract him. When he's in this deep work mode, he protects his attention like it's gold. Because it is gold. By investing his attention into the right things is what led him to accomplish great things. Back when Hamza was a boy, he could not really perform well at school. Even though he really wanted to learn, his brain just had a hard time absorbing anything that was being taught. And one of the biggest reasons why this was the case was because of his diet. Hamza mentions how he used to eat a lot of processed food, and this is what gives him brain fog. You know that feeling when you have a really hard time focusing on things and you just find yourself getting zoned out during work or conversations? A lot of this has to do with your diet. Things that come in packets usually have a ton of unnatural ingredients ingredients in them. Because Snickers bar has 17 ingredients in it. And most of these ingredients like sugar, palm oil, corn syrup will make you feel tired and depressed. And when you start feeling this way, there is no way that you can do something productive. So one of the biggest changes that Hamza has made is that he started eating really clean food. His diet now consists of things that have just one single ingredient in them. Things like meat, eggs, honey, fruit. When you're putting in high quality food inside you, then your body does not have to spend all that extra energy in trying to digest it. And these resources are now free to be used by your brain instead. If you would like to work with me in helping you set up these systems in your life to overcome procrastination, then make sure you click on the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me.